Robert Zemeckis was born in Chicago, and where he grew up there was no music, books, theatre or art, and the only thing that he had that was inspirational to him was the television. Growing up, he enjoyed using his parents' camera and filming birthdays and holidays, which is where his passion for television started. He believed that television saved his life as he learnt about the world outside of his own life. He decided that he wanted to go to university to study film, so he applied to the University of Southern California School of Cinematic Arts, and when he didn't hear a reply from them, he decided to call the university, and they said that he didn't get in due to his grades. Robert tried to persuade them by promising that he would go to summer school to improve his grades. The university agreed to this and finally accepted him. While he was at university, he became close friends with Bob Gale, as they shared the same interest in films. Robert won a student academy at USC for his film A Field of Honor, which is where he met Steven Spielberg, who was impressed by Robert's work, that he became his mentor and then executive produced his first two films, which Robert co-wrote with Bob. His first two films were commercial failures, which then gave them the reputation that they had great scripts but didn't make the film into what the people wanted to see. In the 80s, Robert found it difficult to get a job due to his reputation, but him and Gale wrote scripts for other directors. He then started on the Back to the Future project, which was turned down by all the major studios, which left them jobless. He was then hired by Michael Douglas to film Romance in the Stone, which was expected to fail, which led to him being fired, but surprisingly the film became a success. Due to the success of this film, he was now able to direct Back to the Future, which was so successful it led to another two sequels being filmed. He then collaborated with Disney to direct Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which included traditional animation and live action. The film ended up being the most expensive to be made up to this point, but ended up being successful and received 3 Academy Awards. In 1992, he directed Death Becomes Her, and in 1994 he directed Forrest Gump, which was his most commercial successes. It became the top grossing US film of 1994 and won 6 awards, including Robert getting Best Director. In 1996, he started to film Castaway, where Tom Hanks had to lose loads of weight. So to keep the same crew, they filmed another film called What Lies Beneath. He found it difficult to shoot both films at the same time and wouldn't recommend it. They shot parts of both films in 1999 and released Castaway in early 2000. In 2004, he directed The Polar Express, which they used a computer animation technique where the movements of the actors had to be captured digitally and used as the basis for the animation characters. This was the first major computer animated film, and the New York Times said whatever critics and audiences make of this movie, from a technical perspective, it could mark a turning point in the gradual transition from an analog to digital cinema. In 2007, Robert and the chairman of Walt Disney, Dick Cook, made plans for a new performance capture film company called Image Movies Digital. Robert directed most of the films, while Disney were the ones to market the films worldwide. In 2008, A Christmas Carol started production and was released in 2009 with mixed reviews. Then in 2010, Disney and Image Movies Digital announced they were no longer working together. The studio's last film was called Mars Needs Mums, which was very unsuccessful and was the second worst box office failure in history. In 2014, Back to the Future was taken to the stage and the show was co-written by Robert and Bob. A year later, he directed the film called The Walk, which was based on a true story. In 2015, Paramount Pictures and 20th Century Fox announced that he would direct the film Allied, and that was released in 2016. Robert is an influence to me because his journey to success wasn't easy. Because he didn't give up, he became successful. From the beginning of his life, he has faced challenges, but has always overcome them, and he wouldn't let anyone in the way to becoming a director. When he wasn't accepted into university, he didn't give up, and instead he persuaded them to accept him. When he first started directing, he had a bad reputation because of his first 2 films, but he didn't let that affect his goal and instead carried on and planned Back to the Future, which was so successful that another 2 sequels were made. After his successes of Forrest Gump and The Polar Express, when Disney were no longer working with Robert, he made one last film, which was the second worst box office failure in history, showing that his career just didn't take off. He was then successful with The Walk and Allied, which shows that even though some of his films had bad reviews, he still was able to come back and make films that had won many awards. He has inspired me to never give up when things don't work out, but instead carry on and work hard to get where you want to be.